Hi guys, and welcome to my 59th video. Thank you so much for joining me if you are a return subscriber, or hello if you are new. My name's Adrina, I'm an Australian teacher and mum, currently on a break at the moment, trying to figure out this whole teacherpreneur online space, selling my teaching resources and clip art on Teachers Pay Teachers and online. Now I feel like I haven't spoken to you guys for a little while, and that's because I haven't posted a video for about 3 weeks. And that is because I have been going through some things and just a lot has been on my plate at the minute, being mama, and just a few things I'll talk about in a sec. So if you are not wanting to know about the personal life side of things, feel free to skip this little part. But I just thought I'll just give you guys a brief update of kind of what's been going on this side of the world, because a lot of you guys watch over from America, so I thought I'd just share with you guys that before I jump straight into the income report. But yes, a lot has happened in September, TBT wise and also personal life for me. So September, oh my goodness, algorithm changes for TBT. There's a lot's being said at the minute about all of this in Facebook groups and on the forums, and there are some sellers that are okay with this and they're seeing a massive amount of growth to their stores, and there are some sellers that have been more established sellers that have noticed a dramatic decrease in views and also sales. And that can be quite upsetting for some of those sellers because, you know, they rely on this as their income and they might be full-time at this point when they are relying on TBT as income. So that is why some of those people are a little bit upset about the changes that are happening. If you're not aware, basically TBT has had an algorithm change. They're testing it out, and a few other TBT YouTubers have spoken out about this. Lorianne has, Becca has, I think Teacher for Inclusion has. So a few other sellers have mentioned this and kind of said their little piece about what is going on in this landscape on TBT. And here I'm just reminding, or just if you haven't watched any of those videos, just letting you guys know that September has been an interesting one for a lot of people because of what's kind of been going on behind the scenes at TBT. So my personal view on that is, because of personal stuff, I've been kind of a little bit out of the loop. But I have been keeping up to date with some of the conversations that have been happening on and through some of the Facebook groups I'm a part of. And it has been interesting, to say the least, about everyone's opinion. And with the way that TBT is going, like personalized search, yeah, it's just very, at the minute, quite unpredictable, and a lot of people are just a bit concerned about it, and a lot of people are thinking, you know, if this is the way it's going to be, this is quite scary for TBT. But then, you know, TBT is trying to reassure us to say, you know, that they will only go through with this if it's like showing promising results and the like. So I've kept that in the back of my mind. But for me personally, at the moment, so the last few weeks I've been so busy because just jumping back into mum mode for a minute, I do have a little toddler now who has just had his 2nd birthday. Happy birthday to you! Hooray! 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 Big blow!
Too hot, go.
Blow! He's trying. Cannot believe my son is 2 years old. Like, where does the time actually go? Like, I just feel like yesterday he was literally just born. And so anyways, I'm like, we've had our child for 2 years? Like, oh my goodness, that is unreal. So the last few weeks I've been planning his party, organizing the cake, organizing lolly bags, organizing like all the activities and all the kind of stuff that we're going to do for his party, because we were having it at our house. And yeah, I've just been in mum mode, trying to sort the house out because we're going to have guests over, and then like organising that, going out on my days off to go buy the stuff, organising catering and stuff like that you do as a mum. So that was one of the big things that I've been kind of working on doing. That's why I kind of been not as much into my TBT throughout the month of September. I feel honestly like I've been a little bit, not pushed back, but you know, I'm at this point where I'm like, okay, I need to have a little bit of time, just a little bit of space away from the business, because I really need to prioritize my son in this moment, because it is his birthday and I want to be that present parent as much as I can. So I made the effort for that, and it was lovely to have our friends over and stuff like that. And yeah, it was nice to have that little party for him to celebrate his second birthday. So now I have a 2-year-old who turned 2 at the end of September, and just wild. If you are a parent, you know what I'm about to deal with. Heading into the terrible 2s is a scary thing. Parents, we are not okay. When you have a toddler, there's a lot of big emotions that they have to go through, and we have to try and navigate. So with that, like, he's now dropped his sleep, and also another side effect of that is I have stopped finally breastfeeding. So I know that's might be a bit TMI, but it's life, you guys. So I've stopped breastfeeding, so I fed him up to 2 years old, and then pretty much after his birthday party, I was like, once you turn 2, I've done my dues. I've done my dues. Stop breastfeeding at 2. So I did that, and I am someone that I only thought I was going to breastfeed for 6 months, and then that turned into a year, and then that turned into 2 years. So anyway, I'm proud of my body for all that it's gone through and all that it has done for him, and it is what it is. I'm now also just like, it's been a week now since I have stopped breastfeeding, and this is just like another TMI thing, but like I said, it's real life. I didn't realise, this is something that not anyone talks about, and I don't expect anyone to talk about on like a TPT channel, but like in life in general, no one told me about like the amount of different hormones that you experience and feel when you're detransitioning from going to having like a nursing body to having a not nursing body. So basically from going from breastfeeding to not breastfeeding. The last week has been an emotional roller coaster. I have had some of the low lows, and I'm someone that is naturally pretty optimistic, and I don't get into my feelings as bad as I have this week. So I've been feeling quite low in my energies lately, not just like physically, but just because my body's now going through a detransition and my hormones are leveling out. What I didn't know is when you breastfeed, you actually release a hormone called oxytocin, which is like a love, feel-good hormone. And because I haven't been nursing for this week, that oxytocin and prolactin, which is like a calmness, relaxing kind of feeling, that release when you breastfeed as well. I haven't been getting that because I've stopped breastfeeding, and that has, I think, what has contributed to my result in my low mood. Like, I wasn't even going to film this video today, but I'm here sitting here today really putting on a happy face trying to do this. So I hope you can just understand and just be patient with me at the moment, because my body's just going through all these emotional hormones right now. And so anyway, that's kind of what's been happening with me at the minute. Mum life, TPT stuff, and just me just trying to sort my world out at the moment as we're going through these massive changes for my son and myself. Sorry that was a bit of a long intro, but I just thought I would explain myself as to kind of why I've been away and kind of how I've been feeling at the moment. And with that said, I'm going to take you over to my computer, and I'm going to go through the analytics and talk about my September 2022 income report. Based on my analytics from last year, after August, it tended to go down a little bit. So I just set it back to what I had at the beginning of the year, which was $120. So that was my budget for September that I set for myself. And let's kind of go over and see if I made that or not. Let's go. Hi guys, and welcome to my September 2022 income report. Now let's just go over the analytics that we usually go over, just to kind of see kind of what we've got going on here for this month and a bit since my last income report. So in August, last income report I should say, I was at 424 followers, and now you can see we are up to 454 followers, so that is an increase of 30 followers. I had in my last income report 208 reviews, and now this income report I have 231 reviews or votes. Now I just want to say, you guys, if you are a buyer, please think about when you are going to leave a 1-star review, because I had a person leave a 1-star review because they could not access or open the actual file. It wasn't because they thought the product was a bad product, they just couldn't open the file, so they left a 1-star review. If you are somebody buying clip art, I want to say they will usually be held in a zip file. And if you do not have a program that will allow you to open a zip file, you will not be able to access your download. Please don't just go and leave a 1-star review on somebody's work if you can't open the thing. What you need to do, if you can't open your download from a clip artist or the like, the best thing is to do, you can go to this Ask a Question section. So there's 2 things that you can do. You could go to this Ask a Question section and you'll be able to write a question if you need help with accessing the download. Or what you could do is you could go to support@teacherspayteachers.com, email that email, and I'll include it on screen here. If you have any issues opening a product, resource, clip art set, whatever, they will be able to help you with how to actually get this resource. Now, it's unfair for a person to just go leave a review if they are the ones that cannot open it. I have checked this on my end, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm not the only person that has experienced this as a seller, but I don't think it's fair to go and leave a review because you were unable to access the download. You need to make sure that you know that you can open a zip file. You have the right things that will allow that program to open. And like I said, I checked it on my end. It was absolutely fine. I've been able to download it. The product was there. So if you are experiencing something like that, if you need a bit of help and you can't access the download, email Teachers Pay Teachers on that email or ask the clip artist a question. I would have been more than happy to send that to her email if she was having any issues with that. And I would have been more than happy to do that if she had left a question. I've even said for her or him to email me, and I'll be able to hopefully help them that way too. It can just be tricky because when you do get ratings like that, they kind of hit you a bit more because it's not like they didn't like the product because they weren't able to see it, but it's not the actual product itself that deserves that rating because you were unable to open it. So anyway, if you are a seller, what you can also do, so I'm going into too detail with this, but if you are a seller, what you can do is I could email TPT, and as it is more of a technical difficulty on the buyer's part, they could possibly take that review down. I haven't done that yet, but that is something that can be done if you're worried about the review and stuff like that. I feel so bad that the person wasn't able to access the download, and I really strongly suggest if you are someone that can't access the download, you seek out help from that email or from the seller, and that would be a way for you to access your download. We as sellers want you to have your product. We don't want to take your money for nothing. That's an exchange, you know. I, for one, definitely don't want somebody to go without. I've made these products for you to use or for the buyer to use. So it makes me sad that, someone was unable to access this. And I hope that person kind of gets back to me, or they have emailed TPT to access the download, because it's not, that leaves a bad taste in someone's mouth when they have paid for something and they can't open it or use it. But that is something that they do have to be mindful that they have the right program to do that with. And it can be different if you are working on a Mac or a PC. I know for a Mac it's just a double click and it opens up every time for us, but on a PC it might be you have to right click and click extract all or something like that on your computer for you to actually access the download. So anyway, sorry about that. I just had to go on my little rant. So let's go back to my store. Now, if I go down, I've just done this. These last couple of products have been sort of more in October, these last 4 here, because it's October 10th now. So I'm a little bit late on this income report. In September, I did get to work on kind of some spring elements, some cool boho stuff, and just kind of trying to put these together to create a little bundle here. I've been trying to work on things as much as I can, but like I said, I've been really in the depths of toddlerhood, motherhood, whatever you like to say. It's just been a bit tricky and hard for me at the moment. And I've never disclosed this on my channel, but I have a fiance that kind of works away some part of the week, and so that can be hard because it's just me on my own with my little man. And so, yeah, it's like a fly in, fly out sort of situation, but he's not flying in, flying out. So he's close enough that he could come home every night, but he's not close enough to be home every night because of what he needs to do for his job, if that makes any sense. So we live apart for a few days of the week. So anyway, let's go now and have a look at, did I actually make my budget of $120? Let's go and see. All right, let's go to dashboard. And this will be a sneak peek into what I've earned so much for October. So I've got $29.84 for October so far. And let's go to custom range. Let's go to September 1st to September 30th. Apply. So I did make my budget of $134.63. So I'm really thrilled that I just made it over the edge. I was quite not worried, but I was wondering, I wonder if the algorithm has affected me in some sort of way. But when I looked at my last year's sales, you can see here, last year I earned $82.32. And this year I have earned more than I did last year. But to be honest, because of how many products I have now, it has been a little bit more, I guess, not shocking, but I thought there would be a little bit more growth than that for September because of what, August and September usually are for people. But this is a prime example of showing you, like, not everyone's going to have their best months in August or September. So for me, that has been the case for me this year. I mean, August was my best month, but when I look at my sales for this month, $134.63, like my June and July were more than that. So I don't know whether that is just a natural decrease or if those other factors like the algorithm change have actually affected my store and what's kind of been going on here. So I'm not 100% sure with that, but it's just something to keep in mind. And I guess next year when I do this again, I'll see maybe a clearer picture of whether that was fully affected or not. But yeah, it's very interesting to compare and sort of see. But nevertheless, I am grateful. I'm so glad that there has been growth. That is still pleasing to me. I'm so grateful for that. That it's over what I earned last year, so I can't be mad with that. Every dollar counts, like I say, always. And yeah, let's have a look now at conversions. So I had a bit of a different conversion rate from last year as well. So I was at 3% this year and 2% for last year. And you can see here, like this little section here, I had some sales this year, whereas last year, like there was no sales through that kind of week. So that's interesting that that's kind of picked up. So if I take that last year off, you can kind of see that was this year's and then that was last year's. All right, so let's have a look now at views. This is the interesting thing. So last year I had 937 views and this year I had 1,415 views for the month. So that is it's higher, yes, but it's not that much higher than it was last year. So interesting. But I mean, like I said, there's still growth, so I can't be really mad at that. So, and again, I don't have it like a blog or anything that's really driving traffic. The YouTube thing is the only thing that would make anyone sort of click onto my store. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Let's have a look at units sold. So last year I sold 21 units and this year I sold 37 units. So that's interesting as well. I don't have any video plays. I'll just go back to earnings. So I'll just quickly go and show you here. So September 1st started at $960, went down to $384, nothing for third and fourth, $520. And so you can see there's just a few little dollars here and then. The 10th I kind of went up a bit, which is $11.84, and then just went randomly down to nothing. And then up to $15.04, $19.59, $4.80, $7.20, $14.40, $2.80, $5.04, $2.80, and a few more 0 days, and then $2.64, $0, $2.64, $0, $5.64, $7.60, $7.60, and then just kind of 0. So that was kind of what my month looked like for Tealazzo. So I'm going to actually record that into my Excel sheet that I have. So $134.63. $134.63. So we did make budget for the month. Next month, I'm going to keep it at 120 also, and just see kind of, I'll just probably keep it, because I can see last year, like we went from September being 82 and then we slowly decreased. So if it's going to be anything like what happened last year, it looks like it's going to decrease. But mind you, I am aware that it does depend on like what products I'm uploading as well and stuff like that, and what people are kind of wanting to buy at the time. That also plays a role. And again, if there are those changes in the algorithm, if they are truly affecting me, I don't know. It's harder to tell for smaller sellers, I think. But if you can, read anything from this, then that could help you understand yours, then that's good. I don't know, but this is just me sharing. So yeah, I'll see how we go for October. It'll be interesting if we even make 120. And yeah, it's just like, kind of like I said, just a learning experience, kind of just seeing what happens in the store, and then I can kind of make judgments from that and see how I can improve as my own self, and improving on year as much as I can. Okay, so I will just quickly nip into my resource store, the Creative Table, because I do want to just briefly touch on that and show you that, because the Creative Table has also been out a bit longer. Okie dokie, so we're here at the Creative Table. I've only put out 2 things, like 1 thing each month for this store. And this is a thing where you have 2 stores. And if you don't have a lot of time, like I don't at the moment, I've only released 1 thing in August and then 1 thing in September. Oh no, this was actually October. So I've literally only been releasing like 1 thing a month in this store, but I have added some products from previous years that have kind of still been selling, which has been good. So I want to go and show you my sales for the Creative Table. October so far. This is like a sneak peek. So we're at $81.53 for October here. Let's go and do custom range. And we're going to go to September 1st, September 30. So for the month of September for the Creative Table, I earned $386.96. So if I compare that to last year, I've earned a lot more than I had last year. So last year I was at $195.68 in September, so you can see there's been a nice growth there. So I'm pleased with that, and honestly it's been crazy to me because I've obviously been spending a lot more time in Tealazzo, but the Creative Table, like I said, I've just only uploaded 1 thing a month for the last couple of months. And yeah, I'm just glad that this store has kind of started to grow, with even if I've only been releasing 1 thing a month, so that's been interesting, but it's good to see a bit of growth through that as well. And so conversions for this, oh my goodness gracious, this is a bit wild. I've not actually looked at this. Last year was 4%, 13%. What the heck? I've not actually even looked at this. What the heck? Okay, sorry, I'm just like in awe. Like, what the heck? 13%. Maybe. If you look at this too, like what happened on the 17th? There was nothing sold for the 17th. There, like literally, we just kept on going. Let's just hold on. What the heck is going on? Let me just go back to earnings. Okay, let's just debunk this a little bit. All right, so you can kind of see. All right, September 2nd, 3rd. Okay, so it went a bit higher on the 5th. Okay. I'm not going to read them out. You can kind of just see what's going on for yourself, just to see if this helps with anyone trying to decode the algorithm change. I don't know, this might be helpful to someone if they can see this, I don't know. So yeah, like literally nothing was sold this year on the 17th of September, nothing at all. It just went for a big dip. And on September 18th last year, $1.45 looks like. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but you can see that there's been 2 kind of little spikes in my store at least. I'll take this off so you can kind of see a bit better. So yeah, September 17th and September 22nd, they're like $0 days. So that's interesting. Okay, and yeah, the conversion rate kind of really shook me, 13%. That has not happened from what I can remember looking at any of my other things from any of my last income reports. So anyway, views, so 1,460. And last year, wow, okay, check this out, you guys. So this might aid in a bit of something interesting for you guys to see. So obviously my resource store, this is in September, mind you. So this year I had 1,460. So I earned more money than I did last year, but last year I had more views. So that does show me in some little way now that even though I had more views last year in this month, I actually have earned more having less views. So that's a positive if I'm looking at that as such. So that's positive to me, that even though I've had lower views this year, I've had more sales this year. So that's interesting. All right, units sold. So I've sold 191 this year compared to 113 for last year. And I do have videos, but I don't think many of them being played, so like 0. Okay. Alrighty, so that is that, you guys. I won't go too much into detail with that because that's just, I like to just do a really brief one because my channel's like more of Tealazzo, but it's just good to kind of be able to show you guys and compare a resource store to like my clip art store. And obviously this is, the Crave Table's older than Tealazzo is. I started Crave Table in 2020. I didn't start Tealazzo till 2021. So like a year difference sort of thing. Alrighties guys, so if I add both of those up, so $386.96 from the creative table, add $134.63 from Tealazzo, then we've got a total of $521.59. So, alrighty, so for us Aussies, that $521.59 will come out to approximately $821 Australian dollars. So that will be a little bit higher for us, which is awesome because when we get it paid in USD, it obviously adds a little bit more on top because of the exchange rate, but that does depend and it varies depending on the exchange rate, on the date and like what's going on in the economy and stuff like that. So I'm happy with that, $821. I'm definitely happy with that. I cannot complain. I'm so grateful, like I said, every single time for any amount of money that I earn on this, and I will continue to be grateful. I feel like every sale is just as amazing as the last, and I'm just so grateful for the money that I've received. And it's just amazing to me that we're getting closer, to more closer to $1,000 Australian dollars at least each month. They're not quite there yet, but I can't wait to the day that hopefully in the future that, I have a whole month where I get $1,000 US. I'll be really excited for that one day. And yeah, that's just kind of my little journey. I'm not comparing myself to anyone because this is my journey to do, and this is just kind of what's been going on. Now, just before I go, I just want to touch on one thing. Don't forget that if you are looking also at ways to kind of optimize or just be aware if you're new to TPT or whatever, go to TPT University, and on the side they've got this, I'm pretty sure it's a new section because I haven't seen it here before, but basically they've got a little section called Search Advice. And it basically gives you the best practices that you can implement. I know Lorianne touched on something similar about the best practices, and I think Becca did also about best practices, the things that you can control when things like this happen. So they have this nice little unlisted YouTube video that is done by Karen from Team TPT, that's on the TPT YouTube channel. But basically it's very straightforward. 1, use clear descriptive language and avoid keyword stuffing when listing your resources. Add PDF and video previews to your resources. Tag your resources with relevant grades and tag your resources with relevant standards. They are the top 4 best practices. She does actually go a little bit more into depth of what it means and what it looks like to do that in this video. So don't forget to check that out if you're looking for more information. TPT University has a lot of good information, and also they have some information too on the forums about what's kind of going on in the town halls and stuff like that. So don't forget to kind of check that out. Go to the forums, and they talk about kind of what's happening in the new search improvement. And I want to just highlight this that I saw too, which is here, investing in data. So along with the changes from September with this personalized search, I don't know if anyone has mentioned this yet on here on YouTube or not. I haven't heard, but they might have. But as they have shared in TPT Forward, they're investing in improvements to seller data and tools. So in preparation for the retirement of Google Analytics in July 2023. So that's important because Google Analytics is changing or they're retiring and they're not having that as a thing anymore. So TPT is actually moving to a new data provider. So this change will actually take effect in November. So that's only next month. So we're going to, see probably not till next year from what I can see here. So it says, and we'll keep you updated on what to expect. We're looking forward to the opportunity this gives us to enhance your data experience and bring you new metrics and insights in 2023. So the change will take effect in November, but it may or may not be until actually next year, 2023, that we actually experience some of those changes to our data. Don't know exactly what we're going to get. That's different to what we have now, but it'll be interesting to see this kind of happening. Also, one thing I did want to highlight too, which I forgot to mention just before, was with the PDF previews from the best teaching practices or search in that search advice section. In this video, Karen also mentions about 62% of buyers on TPT say that having a preview impacts a person's decision on buying. So if you're not including, a preview, particularly PDF, but video previews, if you can basically take up all of your digital real estate that you can, that's going to give you the best shot of your resource doing the best. So if you're just only putting covers and you're not including previews, make sure you spend that extra time to go back and add a preview. Or in my case, I am grateful that since I started TPT, I knew that was standard. So every single one of my resources, without fail, like that, you won't find any of my resources that do not have a preview, because when I first started TPT, I knew that was a thing because I had researched and other sellers were sharing that. So it's better to start off and do it take that little bit extra time and have them there, rather than having to go back and be like, oh no, I didn't have all these previews when I first made these resources. So spend that little bit extra time if you're new. And if you're not new, just to see if you can kind of optimize those listings and add those previews as best practices. So with that said, I'm going to see you in my talking head. I'm sorry if my energy has been a bit low today, because like I said, just been feeling a little bit down in the dumps at the moment with my whole body and the hormones transitioning. So yeah, see you in my talking head. Alrighties guys, that is my September 2022 income report. It will be interesting to see kind of what's going to happen for the future of my store, and it's good, I think, to share the dips that happen. It's not always on an increase from every single month, depending on the month, depending what you sell. It really indicates and plays a role in how much money you can potentially earn on TPT. So as you can see, like my September, which is usually a pretty good month for a lot of sellers, but my September wasn't as good as even my June or July. And June and July are more historically lower months for most TPT sellers because all the teachers are on a break. But in my case, when I'm looking at my clip art, maybe because they are on a break, they have more chances to create things, and that's why maybe my sales were up in June and July this year, rather than going up a bit higher for September, because September has been lower this year than my June and July. Mind you, also September was the month where the algorithm kind of, I think, started or kicked off. So that's really interesting to see that my sales have been lower for September than they were for June and July. But when I look at my last year's data, I did go through a decrease from August, and then September was a lot lower. So it's interesting. I still don't think I have enough data to really pinpoint what that is, but like there's a lot of factors at play here. Algorithm change, some people say recession type of stuff. We know that things are costing a lot more, at least in Australia, like increases in fuel, increases in, at one point lettuces were like $11, you guys. I'm not even joking. Like an iceberg lettuce was like $11. It was unreal. That's not the case now. They have gone down, but there has been massive fluctuations with the price of food. Like even the butter that I buy, this Nutlex butter I usually buy, it was like $3, I think 30 naturally, and now it's up to like $5.25. I'm like, wow. So just little things like that, yeah, they can possibly also partake in a role in just like the cost of living as to why people aren't wanting to spend as much on certain things. But other people might find it a different experience, and I have seen throughout the forums and also like Facebook groups that some people are having amazing months and that they have skyrocketed. And with this algorithm change, with the more personalized search, From what I'm gathering, this is just anecdotal and just from what I have felt from the groups that I'm a part of, a lot of the bigger sellers are feeling the brunt of this a lot more than the smaller sellers. It's almost as if, from what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing in these groups, the middle sellers are a bit more at a chance to, I guess, open their possibilities more, to be expanding out more, whereas those sellers that have been more established, they've been the one that have really taken a hit because of the change in the search. So that's really interesting, and it is unfortunate, and really this is a thing too. I guess it's important, if you are a TPT seller, to just think about, and this is something that I'm definitely keeping in mind, and I do have other little income streams. TPT is one of my biggest ones at the moment, but I do have additional, or I've diversified, not to the point where it's earning a full-time wage or anything, but I have got a few little income streams online, so it's not just one thing I'm relying on, like not just TPT, like even this YouTube channel, which I am, hopefully maybe my next video I will go through that with you guys about the YouTube, like how much I've earned on YouTube and stuff like that from this channel. I want to go through that with you guys maybe in the next couple of videos. Stay tuned for that. But you know, things like my YouTube, things like I've got other things like Creative Fabrica as a seller, clip art seller there, and I've got, what else do I have? Boom cards, I've got Skillshare. They're like things that I haven't put as much time into, but they're like little things in the background, but that do help. TPT is definitely the best one that I've got going at the moment, but what I'm saying is it's good to be able to diversify. Eventually, I do want to have my own thing that I can kind of control, whether that be a website or my own place where I can sell, like I have mentioned in like some of my past videos. And I think there's my mindset and manifestation video. I kind of go through kind of what things I'm doing online to kind of diversify my income streams. And it's just important, I guess. I'm not saying like spread yourself too thin or anything, but I'm just saying if you are someone that is possibly worried about putting your eggs all in one basket, maybe think about diversifying yourself to a point where you can be able to have a range of, you're not just relying on one sole platform, because when things like this happen, you can kind of weather the storm a bit easier than having them all in one spot, if that makes any sense. So guys, I'm not a professional at business or anything like that, but they're just some things that I feel like could be a smart move. So with that said, future videos, I'd like to speak about my YouTube, how much I've earned on that. I'd like to speak about Trello, and also do a few more PowerPoint tutorials and some more Procreate tutorials. Please be patient with me, you guys. I so appreciate you guys that are staying around and do watch my videos when they come out. I'm really appreciative of that. It means a lot to me. So thank you if you are a subscriber that is coming back. I do appreciate that. And yeah, hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better in my next kind of videos, because like I said, my mood's been a little bit down lately because of the whole breastfeeding thing. So hopefully it doesn't take too long to get back to feeling like my old self. Alrighty guys, wishing you health, wealth and happiness in your TPT journey and in life. Adios!